you from the United States of America. Stand by, Americans. Here's Mail Call. One big package of words and music and laughter delivered to you by the stars from whom you want to hear in answer to the request you send to Armed Forces Radio, Los Angeles, USA. Tonight's Mail Call is beamed to the British Isles in tribute to the men who run the radio stations of the American Forces Network. And on hand to put the power, push, and appeal into that beam is a girl who sounds as beautiful as she looks. You asked for, and now you have her. GINNY SIMMS.
Thank you, Don Wilson, and greetings to all you fellas out there who are doing such a fine job of operating the AFN. Well, I've received a lot of letters from you fellas since I last appeared on Mail Call, and I think this will be a good time to answer them. The majority of the requests are for a tune by Jimmy Van Heusen and Johnny Burke. It's one of the top ballads at this edition. As this edition hits the air, it could happen to you. I'd like to sing it for you now. Let's do it. Of somebody's eyes. Hide your heart from sight. Lock your dreams at night. It could happen to you. And down turn to something a little more,
One moment, my fragile little tomato. I'd like a word with you if I'm not too inconjurious.
Why, Jimmy Durante. Jimmy, did you say you wanted a word with me?
Yes, perhaps several. I know several. And there's no sense just letting them lay around doing nothing.
All right, what's on your mind?
Without further ado, may I proffer my business card?
Your business card? Let's see. James Durante, impresario, entrepreneur, cognoscensi, bon vivant extraordinaire. My, sounds very impressive.
Yeah, it's hard to believe that I'm only a janitor. But be that notwithstanding, after hearing the dulcet tones of your thrush-light singing voice, they didn't think I could go through with it. I'll do it again to make sure that I know it. I can't do it now. But be that notwithstanding, after hearing the dulcet tones of your thrush-like singing voice, I'm in a position to make you a proposition.
Oh, a proposition.
Not the kind you're thinking of. Remember, I'm only a civilian.
Well, what sort of offer is it, Jimmy? Something to do with my singing?
Precisely. Did you ever stop to think that if you had some training, you might be a success?
But, Jimmy, I have had training.
Ah, but not by the right teacher. Who is the greatest musical genius in the world today? Who does Toscanini call up when he's in trouble? Who does Tchaikovsky turn to when things look black?
You don't mean...
Yes, Umbriaco.
Umbriago? Umbriago is really a great music teacher?
Great. Why, without him, Beethoven don't give a beat. Wagner don't give a wag, and damn rush. Well, you get the idea?
Yes, I think I do.
Do I detest a note of levity in your voice, my good woman?
Oh, no. I'm very much interested.
Just consider our list of satisfied clients. Take Bing Crosby, for instance. Before Bing took Umbriago's course, what was he? A bum. Look at him now. A beautiful home, money in the bank.
And 4 children.
You're talking about the advanced course. I love that kind of carrying on.
Tell me, who are some of your other pupils?
Who are some of our other pupils? Well, John Charles Thomas, to name a few. I thought you wasn't going to get that. And, of course, Rudy Valley.
Rudy Valley?
Yeah, and boy, what a job Umbriago did on that guy. Do you know that when we first got hold of Valley, he was singing through his mouth?
No.
Of a certain tune. However, to return to Umbriago, I can say unequivocally, and without fear of successful contradiction, that in the limbo of glissando and arpeggio, not to mention allegro con moto, there is no one whose perceptive capabilities compare with this monotonous prestidigitator.
Why, Jimmy, how can you say that?
Now that I look at it, I wonder how I made it myself.
Well, Jimmy, you're a good salesman, all right, but I think that I'd be safer with an outside opinion. Do you mind if I leave this up to someone I think is qualified to know?
Certainly not. Call the bum over.
Oh, Johnny Mercer.
Yes, Jenny.
Johnny, I'd like you to meet Jimmy Durante.
Glad to know you, Jimmy.
The pleasure is likewise. I'm mutual.
Well, Johnny's a singer, Jimmy, so naturally he'll be interested in Umbriago's method of voice culture.
Yes, I'm very much interested. Can you explain it to me, Jimmy?
Can I explain it? Just ask me anything you want to know. Any question at all.
Well, how does Umbriago's method compare to the Slavonic method of contrapuntal emphasis through diaphragmatic respiration?
I missed a great opportunity to keep my mouth shut. Listen, Mr. Mercer, let's not get technical. Suffice it to say that a guy like Nelson Eddy would be nowhere today if it wasn't for Umbriago.
Really?
Of course. Why, when Nelson Eddy enrolled in our school, he couldn't sing nothing. And after a half a dozen lessons, out came shortening bread.
How did you accomplish that?
For 6 weeks, we made him goggle with Bisquick.
Well, that's very interesting. Yes, highly interesting, James, but if you don't mind, I think I'll stick to my own method.
And what if I may be so bold as your method?
Very simple, Jimmy. I start a note in the lower tone chamber, let it run around the esophagus, from where it turns adroitly into the diaphragm, makes a slight reconnaissance over the respiratory canal, and arrives at the larynx in the form of a tone, like this. Ah!
Wait a minute. Let me ask you something.
What?
Was that trip necessary? You and your esophagus. Esophagus from it turns adroitly into the diaphragm.
Maybe I better just sing, right, Jenny?
Right, Johnny. Fellas, here's Johnny Mercer, aided and abetted by Joe Stafford and the Pied Pipers with their version of Lullaby of Broadway.
Come on along and listen to the Lullaby of Broadway. Hip hooray and ballyhoo, the Lullaby of Broadway.
The rumble of the subway trains, the rattle of the taxis, the daffodils that entertain at Angelo's and Maxie's.
When a Broadway baby says goodnight, it's early in the morning.
Manhattan babies don't sleep tight until the dawn.
Good night, baby. Good night.
Milkman's on his way.
Good night, baby. Good night.
Dig that cabaret. You better not start to hit the hay. We're going to travel along Broadway.
We'll get a taxi and hop a bus. So come along, folks, and follow us.
From the Battery to Yonkers-town, right up to Yonkers and back on down.
And when we hit all the spots in town, we'll call it a day.
Listen to the lullaby of old Broadway.
Hey, good night. Good night, baby. Time to say good night. Milkman's on his way. Sleep tight. Close your eyes. Sleep tight, baby. Sleep so tight. We'll call it a day. And listen to the lullaby of old Broadway.
Well, the GIs in the country took themselves a poll. It's called the GI Music Popularity Poll. And the band that won wasn't a surprise to anybody. The vote was overwhelmingly in favor of the musical platters recorded by that young man with a horn, Harry James.
Well, Jimmy, the boys and I certainly appreciate the honor of being chosen the favorite GI band.
You know, Harry, such a distinction really calls for a speech.
Well, I'm not much on speech-making, Jenny. The band and I would rather show our gratitude by swinging out lightly with our idea of the St. Louis Blues.
Wonderful, boys. You really gave the St. Louis Blues a...
Wait a minute. Don't let that trumpet player get away. I want to talk to him.
You want to talk to me?
Yeah. I was just sitting outside listening to you play that horn, kid. Say, you ain't bad. What's your name?
Harry James.
Harry James what?
Just Harry James.
How do you like that? The guy ain't got no last name. Well, never mind, kid. Have you ever heard of the Umbriago School of Music?
No, I don't believe so.
The greatest music school in the country, son. Why don't you let Umbriago take your orchestra in hand?
Yeah, but why?
In no time at all, he'll have them jumping like Guy Lombardo.
That Umbriago must be a genius.
I'll say he is. Have you ever heard of Sammy Kaye?
Yeah.
Umbriago won't have nothing to do with him. Tell me, son, what do you do in the daytime?
In the daytime?
Yeah, I mean, how do you make a living? Haven't you got anything steady?
Well, I do quite a bit of platter work.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
But how much can you make being a busboy? You're going about this thing all wrong, kid. How can you convince anybody you're a musician? Look at you. You haven't even got a tuxedo.
Well, I do the best I can, Mr. Durante.
Are you married, son?
Yes, I'm married.
You got it tougher than I thought. You know, I feel sorry for you slaving away all day over a hot trumpet. And what have you got to go home to? Nothing.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
This is really a pitiful case. Is your wife working?
Yes, she is. She works in the movies.
That's no job for a woman walking up and down the miles all night long, showing people their seats.
Yeah, but that isn't the kind of work she does.
Oh, then she's a cashier. Oh, the poor kid. Sitting in one of them cages all day long. She must have a figure like a barracks bag.
Oh, Jimmy, come now.
Well, say, just what does your wife look like, son?
Well, have you ever seen Betty Grable?
How do you like that? Every cluck in the country thinks his wife looks like Betty Grable.
Well, she does.
That's okay, kid. You just keep living in your dreams.
Jimmy, you've made a terrible mistake. Why, Harry James is not only the #1 trumpet player in the United States, he actually is married to Betty Grable.
No kidding.
Yes.
I'm flabbergasted. And it's the second time this week my flabber has been gasted. Say, Mr. James.
Yes?
My apologies. Why doesn't my employers inform me of these contingencies?
Oh, well, that's all right, Jimmy.
What's the difference? You add a vowel or a noun to the thing. You know, you're more than gracious. And now, Mr. James, may I borrow your trumpet?
What do you want it for?
I'm going to take it and beat Umbriago's brains out.
Jenny, do you mind if I read my commercial right here?
Well, not right here, Don. You see, I was just about to sing another song.
Oh, but gee whiz, I've been practicing all afternoon. I'm hot.
Well, keep it on the burner, Don, and you can do it right after I sing Time Waits for No One, okay?
Really?
Yes.
Oh, joy, oh, rapture.
For no one, it passes you by. It rolls on forever, like the clouds in the sky. Time waits for no one, goes on endlessly. It's just like the river flowing out to the sea. You'll find that love is like this. Each precious moment we miss sweet moment away. Time waits for no one. Let's take love while we may. You find that love is like this. Each precious moment we miss will never, ever return again. So don't let us throw one sweet moment away. Time waits for no one. Let's take love while we
Swell, Jenny. That was swell. May I read my commercial now?
Okay, Don.
I'm pretty proud of this. I wrote it all myself. Yeah. There was a GI from Nantucket who kept all his cash in a bucket. But he played some fan-tan with a card sharp named Dan. And the cash in the bucket, Dan took it.
Tuck it? Shouldn't that be took it?
Did you ever play cards with a GI?
No.
Well, believe me, they took it. And no kidding, fellows. Play one game, you can always win. Put part of your pay safely away in soldiers' deposits or GI bonds.
Well, fellas, no program with Harry James would be complete without hearing his famous arrangement of the King Porter Stomp. So, Harry, push that middle valve down, son. Well, this is Jenny Simms winding up mail call with a special word to you fellows who run the American Forces Network in Britain. We know here that no matter what Hitler puts into the sky against you over there, planes, buzz bombs, and long-distance artillery, he couldn't keep your 44 stations off the air, not even for a minute. And if war is what General Sherman said it was, then you fellows have the satisfaction of knowing that you've made war a little lighter, a little easier to bear for the millions of guys fighting to get it over. Many of you have gone into France, some of you even into Germany. But wherever you are tonight, this is Jenny Simms saying, may God bless you and keep you all.
Well, that's it, fellas. The end of another mail call letter. Signatures include Jenny Simms, Jimmy Durante, Harry James and his band, Johnny Mercer, Joe Stafford and the Pied Pipers, Carmen Dragon and his orchestra, and yours truly, Don Wilson. This program is arranged with the cooperation of the Hollywood Victory Committee. Another mail call will be coming your way the next time you hear... This is the Armed Forces Radio Service.